What's up, guys? What I've done in this video is recorded the highlights of a week's worth of workouts to give you kind of an introduction to the rationale behind programming. I was a trainer for 20 years and I don't really train anybody in person any longer, but I still want to pass on the information that I have. And I think that this might be a good modality to do just that. We're gonna start out with what I call warm-up number 1. It's 4 hip mobility exercises, 3 T-spine mobility exercises, 1 ankle mobility exercise, and 1 all-around mobility exercise in addition to foam rolling. And the reason I'm doing this warm-up is because it improves load distribution. So I'm doing a lot of hip mobility and a lot of T-spine mobility. And what that does is that it shifts the load of the exercises that I'm doing away from the lower back, up into the T-spine and down into the glutes. And for myself and most of the people that I've trained, that's exactly what you want. Or in other words, when you do your exercises, they're gonna be more glute and more T-spine dominant rather than lower back. And that's what you want. These 2 T-spine mobility exercises that I'm doing right now are fantastic, just by the way. If you only have a short period of time to warm up, this is the exercise you want to do. I call it the sprinter, and you get a lot of bang for your buck out of it. Here we've got some pretty standard ankle mobility. I do 10 reps forward and 2 to either side without moving my foot. In addition to the mobility exercises, I also include some foam rolling on my T-spine, my hip flexors and quads, as well as my calves. And I have the privilege of being at a gym that has vibrating foam rollers. And let me tell you, they're a game changer. They actually are game changers. They're really, really good. They make a big difference in comparison to regular non-vibrating foam rollers. They're really good. Moving on, I always start my workouts with a core exercise, and this is a great one. It's called the anti-rotation half kneeling. I got it from one of Eric Cressy's programs that I was a guinea pig for. Try it out. It's excellent. Moving on, we're going to move on to the combination of the bear crawl backwards with the bottom up Turkish get up. This is a combination I do a lot, namely because I'm having a bit of shoulder pain lately, and the bear crawl backwards is a good activation exercise for the serratus anterior. The serratus anterior, one, helps you to raise your arm up overhead, but it's also an antagonist to the muscles that retract the shoulder blade, which you're using when you push off the floor. And I find that that's when I have the most pain. Now, in case you're wondering, I do extensive warming up when I do the Turkish get up. In fact, I oftentimes move through every single kettlebell we have for 2 reps until I get to maybe 75 or like 80 pounds or something like that. And here we've got 88 pounds, 40 kg. My goal for this workout was to hit this for 2 reps. And what you're about to see is a cool phenomenon that illustrates the difference between patterning exercises and regular, more isolated strength exercises in regards to their ability to fatigue the body. It's pretty cool. Watch. So I hit the first rep, as you just saw, and I'm about to miss the second, right as this coworker walks by. Now I'm gonna try it again on the other arm, and roughly the same thing is gonna happen, except nastier. That's about as bad as a miss as I've ever had, and I caught it on film. Now here's where the interesting part starts. As you just saw, I failed to hit my desired number of reps on the first set, and now on the second set, I'm actually going to hit it. Now, how often in strength training do you fail on your first set to hit the desired number of reps, but you succeed on the second? That's kind of a weird thing. And the reason is that the stress of the TGU or any number of different patterning exercises is so well distributed throughout your whole body and not isolated to one or two muscle groups that the practice that you get from doing successive sets or more sets supersedes the fatigue that you get from doing those sets. That's kind of an odd phenomenon. So after I failed on that first set, I had kind of a Brad Owen moment, if any of you are poker players, and I was like, I didn't come here to quit. And I picked that kettlebell back up and hit it again. The truth is, this is extremely dangerous. You can lose your life. But I always feel like this exercise has helped me focus so much and has given me such mental well-being that I just can't give it up. One thing I want to emphasize, though, is that my goal for the day was to hit the TGU with 40 kg for 2 reps. And despite the fact that I didn't do it on my first set, I didn't give up, and I did a second set thinking that I would get a total of 2 reps, 1 rep in each set. Now I got an extra one, but the point is I hit my reps for the day, and that's important. Moving on from the pattern, now we're going to the parts. This is a T-spine extension. Glue your body to the bench, lift your head and arms as high as they go. Excellent exercise. Here we've got cervical or neck retraction. Basically everybody needs this. Here's a posterior tibialis exercise. I need this. Now we're going to do 2 anti-rotations. This is called the crosswalk. The heavier kettlebell is 3 times heavier than the light. And this is an exercise I call the paddler. Excellent exercise. This is more towards the beginning of the line of progression. Moving on, I'm about to do some trap bar deadlifts, but prior to, as well as interspersed in between sets, I always do some T-spine mobility, some core stability, and hip mobility. That keeps your load distribution optimal. Load distribution will worsen as you go through your workout, so I'm constantly doing those exercises just to stay on top of it. Now, deadlifts, squats, TGUs, any number of different things are greater patterns of which the glutes, for instance, are a part of. So here I'm training them specifically or in isolation so as to improve those greater patterns. And that's how you get results in the gym, basically, assuming you're always improving on your numbers.